It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time.
Guys,
Alana,
welcome.
Where are you?
I'm sitting on the other side of Steve's couch.
I thought so.
Can you see the hands?
Here's my hand.
All right.
It's
All
a
right.
little
Wait, Alana, put your
counterintuitive.
hand back there. Put your hand back there, Alana. Put your hand back there.
How in the video? Who's
That'll-
next to who?
Oh yeah,
It goes on mine. It goes Alana, Mr. Register, Steven, Malcolm.
that's where we're at. That's where we're all at. I
really?
think. Yeah, that's where we're at.
I
Did I
have mine
take
full
off?
screen, so we're like in quarters.
Guys,
I can
welcome.
sit somewhere so people can see me.
Welcome to the First Time Show.
Oh, is this it? We're
We'll
rolling.
fix it in post, Malcolm.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the
Alright.
First Time Show. And I actually have no idea how to fix that in post, and I'm sure you know that though. We're back. And we're talking about episode 4 of Lovecraft Country, which, by the way, I'm a little
We're back.
salty.
We're better than ever.
I'm a little salty about that early release.
Oh yeah.
Are you?
A little bit, because I had my whole weekend plans, and I had everything planned. I was gonna watch Mulan and watch The Boys season 2, which my boy Malcolm Barrett on the show today is in.
I want to like Brady Bunch him, but I don't know where.
Don't you dare Brady Bunch my friend. I'll come home to your house.
Steve's making a lot of threats today.
I'm
You're
not
already
taking
here,
any more
Steve.
bullshit. I'm empowered. I'm empowered by this great television show, and I'm empowered by my friends and loved ones. And welcome to the show. Alana Fickes is here, Brett Register is here, and my good friend Malcolm fucking Barrett is here. Look at you. You look great. That lighting now looks fantastic.
Oh, and he
and
turned.
now we're back. And now we're back. You look great. This is like a Michelle Gondry music video.
Can I say? Can I say something about the HBO early release of
Go
this
ahead.
episode?
Yes.
I listened to just about half of the podcast.
What podcast?
The HBO Lovecraft podcast,
The official one.
the official one.
Okay.
And it's two girls, and one of them
So
was
you're cheating on us. Just kidding. No,
Well,
you
I
can
wanted
listen.
insight.
No, I'm just kidding. You can
And-
listen.
You mean the Superior Lovecraft podcast?
I mean, I would have listened to the whole thing if I had time.
Listen, any day now, HBO's gonna knock on our door, the old
Come
First
and
Time
knock
Show
on our
headquarters,
door.
and be like, "We
James
want."
ABC is coming back.
Yeah. They sent me an Oculus Quest. We're in, guys.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, the girls, one of them was a writer on the show, and obviously they're doing the official podcast. And they, at the end of episode 3, their podcast on episode 3, they said, "See you next week. Just so you know, the episode airs on September, whatever today is." Like, basically, they didn't know it was coming out early
totally
either.
not. Yeah, and I don't think Journey or the cast knew either, because it seems like, I don't know if she did this on purpose.
Was it on purpose?
But she was doing like a tweet through. She was doing like a tweet along.
Oh, a tweet alone.
But she started at 6, and she was posting all these tweets that was like, "Get ready for the next episode. It's about to air." And
Bless
she was
you.
like really hyping up like the normal airtime of the show.
Today?
Yeah. And so I get the feeling
Well,
that
like,
they
how
were.
many people knew it came out early? You know
I
what
wonder
mean?
if it was a mistake, because that would be fun, so that's my choice.
Maybe it was a mistake.
I'm gonna
If you're-
say it was a
If you're
mistake.
watching the show,
No, it was a mistake.
It definitely was a
Malcolm,
mistake.
maybe it was a
The
mistake.
national,
If
the
I want
national
it to be a
syndicated-
mistake, it's a mistake.
It shows
Hold
all
on,
over
Malcolm.
America.
Don't tell me that this is a program that's put on a channel that's known for never fucking up by putting a goddamn modern water bottle in a Game of Thrones
Oh.
medieval alternate universe. They
That's
make
on the
mistakes all the
filmmakers.
time. It's possible. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, but before we dig in, I'm so happy Malcolm's here. I've been trying to get you on the show. We've been trying to get guests on the show. And it's just, I don't know, maybe it's the time we record, and I felt like I was really bugging you, but I love you so much, and I love all of your opinions and your
He's about
thoughts.
to propose.
And I really feel like, I don't think we're there yet, but I really feel like, sorry if that disappoints you, Malcolm, but I really feel like this show was like basically, oh no, he's upset. Malcolm, was this show made for you, man? Because you're like a nerd and you like horror and sci-fi and stuff like that.
and you're
this-
black, let's be honest.
I'm sorry.
Black. I was waiting for that.
I know, you're like hiding it. There's an elephant in the room.
Well, not that just because you're black, but the fact that the show is very open about more historical accuracies.
Yeah, and Malcolm, you've become such an activist. I don't know if you were an activist personally before, but since that's been
Am I
a good thing to talk about, yeah. Yeah, totally. Look at your Instagram. It's evolved.
You're fucking Martin Luther King. You see your Instagram? That's half of it.
That's how you know
I
who
think
someone
that-
is.
I think that when I always think about white people watching the show, I'm like, are they getting it? Like, I'm like, are they knowing what's happening? Are they like? I always imagine like it's me and my blurred friends, right? I always imagine like we're having conversations about like Gordon Parks and about sundown towns and about diaspora, and I just picture my white friends next to me like diaspora.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I just feel like
I don't know what diaspora is. That's true. I think we're thinking the same thing. When we're watching the show, we're just like, am I getting this? Did that name mean something that I should know? I'm like, we watched the show twice this week because it came out early, and I have like 10,000 notes because I'm like, it's my opportunity to Google every sentence they said and see if there's some secret thing that I just don't know
Especially
about.
now that the show has started to like pepper in
Pepper Ann.
historical references and you know, like Martin Luther King was referenced in the last episode, and
That one we know.
and
I'm not
that
proud
one
of
you
this.
guys picked up immediately.
Dude, I'm not proud of this.
Listen,
I'm
for
just trying to
3
be
weeks
open.
we've been pretending to know whether we know
oh,
or not.
I knew immediately. Alana can attest to this. They were talking about a
yeah,
reverend
Steve's the only one who knew the
Martin Luther King.
I mean, Malcolm. Sorry. Malcolm Luther King.
Malcolm Luther King.
Malcolm Luther
Martin
King
Luther
is your new Instagram handle.
Malcolm
so get
Luther
on it.
King X.
I really want to hear how these conversations went before I was there.
Well,
Like, I wanna
fortunately
just-
for you, there's a podcast.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
dear.
love the references to things that are absolutely true and not talked about enough in movies and TV shows, especially on HBO and shit. And I think it's really fucking cool, and I'm loving it. But
Oh,
I also
yes.
feel like
Big.
just to jump right in on how we felt about the episode and stuff. Usually we just talk about how we felt about the episode, and then we'll read some emails and we play clips
And go details if you want.
We have
Is it visual too? Do people watch this?
yeah,
show?
yeah. But Brett reminded me that I haven't put up the
Very
last
few.
episode yet.
The
Which I
last
forgot.
Yeah, Steve
episode
has,
video.
First, Steve has to remember to upload it, which is a big deal.
Yeah, well, the audio's
All right.
out there, but
The
Then
audio-
people have to watch it 2 weeks later.
Okay.
So even though I loved this episode for being like an Indiana Jones, like archaeology adventure
Mhm.
with like scary monsters and like mummies and shit, which I loved, and booby traps, which are always great and fun, but I also felt like we're getting like a loop-de-loop roller coaster situation going on with this show. Like the first episode was like so fucking good, and then the second episode was like, what the fuck is this show? And then the third episode is like, oh, now I get this show. Now I get it. Now I understand what they're doing. And then this episode was just like, oh fuck, now I don't know. Now
Really? I felt like this stayed within the.
I think it stayed
like,
within the
structure of the
parameters
show.
of the show, but I just felt like the quality dipped a little from the last episode.
I read an
I love
article.
this. I felt like the whole story, you know, the like overarching story aside, I think each week we're getting a very traditional story, but a different type of story each week that kind of falls in this pulp sci-fi
Sure.
adventure format where we've always seen white protagonists, where we've always seen white lead characters, and it's taking something familiar and diversifying it in a way that both, you know, we talked about last week, it's like we grew up being like ghosts are scary, And now we saw this situation where it's like, yeah, there's ghosts, but the neighbors are way fucking scarier than the ghosts.
Yeah.
And, so I think that this is the adventure episode. I think we'll get kind of that. It's very pulpy. Like they're following those archetypes. And so I feel like we need like a really, I don't know. I guess the second episode was kind of the like fantasy episode. I feel like we need a real hard sci-fi episode.
I want like a full Lovecraft episode, like a Lovecraftian. I don't think we got enough. We don't have enough Lovecraftian like weird creatures and shit yet.
When I read an article about the show, and the writer called it the subgenre of the week, and I thought that was like so well articulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like episode 1 is a road trip show. Episode 2 is, I don't know, cult mystery.
Well, I don't have a problem with the structure. I'm really enjoying the pulp.
Well, now that we're getting it, I'm in.
Yeah, no, and I like it's an anthology-esque pulp thing, and I'm really digging that. I just feel like what I meant by a quality dip is like maybe writing a little bit.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I don't think this was as strong as last week.
Like, I just think that there were some moments that felt unnecessary and maybe like a little I don't know, some of the dialogue was strange, and like the moment where Atticus and his dad are talking in the catacombs while Letty
when he's upset with him.
No, it's like it's like he's telling him about how like you need to go get the girl or whatever, essentially.
Yeah, I do feel like they're trying to string
song.
along this love story, and it's not as necessary as everything else is going on around us.
Yeah, but it's, whatever. You want to see them get together because they're like perfect for each other, and you just want to see those two people making out and having simulated sex in every episode. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, I guess we're learning a lot
You got
more.
simulated sex in this episode.
Which
They're
part?
not going to disappoint.
We did?
Huh?
Where was the simulated sex in this episode?
With the sister.
The sister and the white dude.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. You're right. We did.
My
we did
mind
get to
only
that.
goes in one location at a time.
Malcolm, what do you think of the episode? As far as like, you've seen them all, obviously.
Yeah. I thought it was great, man. I love. I didn't read the book. Someone told me that it is like that. It's a collection of stories, like that. It's a bunch of different things. But then I talked to another buddy of mine who read and said that they are the main characters in there. So I don't know what the story does, but the way it's storytelling, it is, it reminds me sort of almost like the Penny Dreadful sort of things.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's sort of taking these sort of gothic stories that and alluding to in these genres and sort of putting them all in there. I love the mashups. I mean, the whole show is a mashup. Like, one of my favorite things about the show is the anachronistic music.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone does anachronistic music as well or as frequently, other than like maybe Tarantino or something like that.
Yeah.
You'll have very modern music and music there, and it's good because it's all score, right? And you've seen it done badly, and here I pretty much always enjoy it. It never takes me out, and so it's interesting to see how that is used. I don't know. I really
didn't understand.
Did you have
an idea of why all the music was about money this week? Like all of the modern music was all about money.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a what is her name? There's that rapper that says I got money.
That song. I just discovered it because of this show. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's like L. Her name's like L7 or some shit like that. I can't remember. But I mean, the whole episode's about money. I mean, the family buys the house for.
That's her.
Yeah. There you go. Look at 47. The family buys the house for them, and so they own it, and so they're the big rich property owners that are taking over this property. And then it's about the sister who's trying to come up, who sees that a black person is finally working at the department store and realizes that because of that she'll never work there, and then that opportunity is gone. And here comes this sort of great white hype who's coming to get down and dirty with the black folks, who comes there, and you think is going to be this sort of classic tropish thing, or she's wary of this because she's, we all know, they know of, the white folks coming to the South Side to get a part of the Negro culture and shit like that. And so like now this is her access to power. Like, she won't be able to work at that wardrobe store, at the department store. And now instead of getting that money, she's getting that power through this guy in some way. That's the theory. I think that one of the reasons he fucked her is that he's going to use that relation to get into the house and into the papers and the documents of Titus. So
That's my
yeah,
theory
so
too.
that's really interesting. And there's a bunch of stuff I missed the first fucking time. Like I have to.
Yeah.
I missed the whole thing about the allusions to the father's sexuality and the
Me
bartender
too.
and
I
all
didn't
that.
catch that till there's so much I only caught in the second. And to be fair, now that I'm listening to the podcast that's like The Official has the writer in it. One of them is a writer on the show. There's so much that they're saying where I'm like, they're definitely let in on something. The way that they're experiencing the show, like, I'm like, you got insider information. I never would have picked that up. I don't know wouldn't even know what you're talking about, but I'm glad you're saying it because now I can consider things from that perspective. Anyway, I have loads of notes if you guys want to hear some of it later.
Yeah, we'll hear your notes later. We like Alana's notes. We have a theme song for it.
There's a theme song.
Alana's notes.
We do.
Um,
Can I say about Dracula from last episode while
Sure.
we're on the topic of that?
Yeah.
So how last week we were like, why? I don't really get what the purpose of it was. Apparently, Dracula was like the theme for Letty because Letty had just come back to life and she like wasn't really all the way back to life yet. She wasn't totally human or in her body metaphorically yet for a bunch of it. And she was interacting with like the ghosts of dead people and blah, blah, blah. So she was meant to be this like Dracula analogy throughout the episode. Another thing that I wouldn't have known if I didn't listen to the podcast.
Wow.
Like, okay, let me think about that.
Well, what
Doesn't
about the
help or
woman that
hurt
came
me.
back to life?
Yeah, they said the only difference between her and a vampire is that, in the analogy, is that she is able to get back to life when a vampire or someone else who's dead isn't.
Huh.
Speaking of the woman that came back to life, there's a name for that. The sort of Native American figure with both sexes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So I was watching and my homegirl was like, "Oh, the two spirits."
Yeah, two spirits.
That's
yeah.
what it is.
I got responsible.
which I didn't know anything about, which was kind of cool.
I mean, I had heard of
That's what
that.
that whole thing was.
I think I know a little more about a Native American culture than Black culture even. Let me tell you, growing up in Hawaii, we learned a lot about like tribal little cultures from America, like because Hawaii, white people came in and fucked with Hawaiians, and so we hear about the Native Indian version of that a lot. But in our version of like history class, we don't hear a lot about Black culture. There's so little African American presence in Hawaii that I feel like they're just fine with kind of omitting some of that. Not cool, but to be plain about my experience of history, it's mostly Hawaiian like mini tribe stuff. Anyway, random.
Well, I wanted to say really quickly that this episode was directed by Victoria Mahoney, who, if you're unfamiliar, Ava DuVernay tweeted that, first of all, she said she was one of the dopest directors in the game, quote, she said that. And she said this was the episode she directed after completing second unit direction of the last Star Wars movie.
Whoa.
So she seems like she's moving up in the world big time, and she got to do a cool episode of Lovecraft Country, and I think that's fucking awesome. Hashtag female filmmaker every day.
Baby.
Is what she says. That's what she
I was
said.
gonna say, is that you or is that the tweet?
Oh, I thought it was.
No,
Steve.
that's what she said.
Adam names, Eve
I thought
fucks.
Steve was like
Eve fucks,
hashtag
baby.
female.
Hashtag hey.
a day. A day.
But anyway, I guess it was super fun. I loved all the Indiana Jones shit, and I loved the fucking crazy transformation scene, and from the corpse person into the two spirit, two soul thing that you were saying. But yeah, a lot of cool shit in this episode. A lot of really, really, really cool shit. But man, someone in the subreddit said something about. They said that their theory was.
Oh my god.
The what's her name? What's the name of the girl?
Christina.
Christina, the girl.
The white
that's-
bitch.
The white bitch, Christina.
With a snap, because she's sassy.
Like someone in the subreddit said, my theory is that her and then the guy who looks kind of like her is the same person. and they switch between
Yeah.
male and female.
And we saw it the second time through,
And
there's
yeah.
like there's a shot that is like meant to make you think that, and now I'm convinced. So-
Yeah. So she might have the ability
You know what's
to
funny?
do that.
I didn't think that, and then I didn't think that. And once somebody said that, I was like, oh yeah, because there's this weird shot, right, where there's that shot where she walks out after the police have followed her.
Yep.
And it's one shot, and they don't cut away,
Yep.
and she walks, and then he comes.
Like
and
the second she not closes the door, he comes out of the.
There isn't even a door; it's just a
Yeah.
corner, isn't it? Anyway, either way.
That was a great
Yeah,
scene
and-
too when he beat the shit
Yeah.
out of those cops.
Yeah.
It's just a good like John Wick moment in the middle of Lovecraft country.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know how. There's like 38 cuts in that little fight scene. So,
Yeah, I
True.
guess that's true. That's
Like,
But
my homegirl was looking at it. She was like, she looks at fight scenes differently because I was like, when we watch John Wick, I'm like, if you notice, I was like, here's what's amazing about John Wick. There's no cuts. And it's just whole action happening, blah, blah, blah. So now every time we watch a fight scene, she's like, there's 38 cuts in that motherfucker. Like, every scene looks like Liam Neeson. I forget whatever movie it is where Liam Neeson
Taken.
is jumping over the fence. Do you
Oh.
know that? Do you know that GIF? There's this GIF of Liam
Not
Neeson.
Taken?
It's not Taken, but it's one
That's
of his
the name of the
later
movie,
I'm here to
Not
fight
Taken.
back for old people movies. And it's like literally 14 cuts as he jumps over a
Yes,
fence.
this sounds familiar. I think I've seen that scene. What is it from?
You're like, there was a whole stunt team involved. in
Listen, that editor was trying to get paid,
this. He
Malcolm.
was like, I get paid per cut.
Per cut.
No, it
That's
was probably
wild.
like, well, you can see his face wincing here. He's looking insane here. Let's just get these two frames from here, and we'll put it all together.
Gosh.
What do you think is
Make
going?
magic.
What do you guys think is going to happen with Ruby and Sting or whatever the hell his name
Let's
is?
just call him Sting.
Baby
I
Bowie.
wish the question was just, what do you guys think is going to happen?
Well,
Period.
what are you worried about Ruby? I'm kind of worried about her, but she's such a badass that I don't think she's gonna. I don't know. I don't know how deep it'll go, but I'm worried about her character.
Yeah, they're definitely setting her up for some sort of tragic end.
Really, you think so?
I mean, it could go that way for sure, but
They're making her out to be very like sympathetic.
yeah.
I don't think
character.
anything's gonna happen to her until her and Letty like reconnect.
Oh,
and-
for
and
sure.
clear up their shit.
I think she'll be present for a while. I think after listening to part of that podcast again, they kept mentioning this whole concept, which I'd love to bring back again in a minute, of you can't use your master's tools for revolution. Like you can, but that's not the way to have a proper revolution, which comes from a quote from Audre Lorde, but I didn't look up the exact words, so sorry, not the literal quote. Anyway, and they kept mentioning that like all the different characters are doing what they think is right to create revolution. Like they're all using their own tools, so to speak. And they mentioned Ruby right after talking about that, so I was imagining, I don't know, just like that what she initially thought probably were her tools for revolution, getting that job, et cetera, and her making kind of the choice to go be with Sting and all that. I think it's going to end up being that this is her trying to, like, there's going to be a path that she's trying to follow through that. I don't think it's going to just be a random thing after hearing that concept relating to this episode.
Yeah, we also don't know much about her other than like she's in a band, sort of. She sings and she is trying her damnedest to get like a decent job,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like what it seems like we're doing with her character right now. I'd love to see more, to get some more depth from that character because she's great.
Yeah, she was really interesting because it was like when she first was introduced, you kind of felt like something had to happen because it was such a grand entrance for her. Do you know what I mean? Like there was all this sort of like Rosetta Sharp imagery, you know what I mean? Like like just this amazing, like, you know, back in the day, black guitarist, female guitarist, and so like there's something to that I think there's just like clearly this big lead up to, and I feel like, I mean, I have no idea. I usually have no guesses about the future. I'm just like, whatever happens, man. But it feels like she's gonna be used in some way against Letty.
Yeah.
Wherein she's given power or used that power or something, and it's going to be used against Letty, and they're going to wind up like fighting against each other in some way.
Yeah, which would be interesting because I got kind of some interesting vibes about when Christine, you said her name was?
The blonde girl,
Christina. When Christina went to Letty and said, don't let the guys make you think that it's always about them.
Exactly.
Yo, yeah, I
And
want that.
That made me feel
to
like
come somewhere.
yeah, like maybe Atticus isn't even like, because she did say he wasn't even that special. He was just named, and then like he's not that important.
Tick is a total Trojan horse for Letty.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I feel like that whole thing.
That's
was
what I'm
leading up
getting
to,
out of this one.
Yeah, and led to like it's the Trojan horse for Letty. She's gonna do the shit. I mean, and that's what made Letty's speech underwater in a tunnel so cool. Where it was just like, I mean, it's exactly what Register was talking about upending traditional tropes. Where Tick tries to tell him to all go inside, and then he's like, he's been kidnapped. I'm underwater. We are all in this. Why do you think you're the lead of our lives?
And why do you think you're the center of the universe?
It's not about you.
Yeah.
Not all about you.
You know what I mean?
And
then she walks ahead and goes and stuff like
and then
that.
she handles it. But it's like I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that like Letty and her sister are like very important,
part of something,
and maybe even more important than Atticus. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
they seem to be alluding to that.
I think 100% it's going to be it's going to wind up being a thing like that.
What if they come from the same bloodline from that Hannah woman, and then they find out they're related, but they already had sex and shit?
Wait, is that the woman
like Game of Thrones
we saw when he was running out of the crumbling?
Yeah,
building?
Hannah. That's the ancestor who connects them to the bloodline.
Man, I really want to like know all this, but it's so confusing.
So much,
dude. The name thing. I'm horrible with the names.
I know.
I'm just like
me too.
Like what's funny is what's the name of the brother that went with them to the museum that had a Philly in Philly?
Yeah,
I just think of it as like the slang.
Yeah,
guy.
he wrote up and he said something about what's the dad's name, like Mordecai or something
with an M.
Montrose.
Yeah.
Oh, the friend. The friend is Tree.
Oh yeah, Tree.
Tree.
That's why he's a tree.
Exactly.
Tree
Tree
legs,
wait,
bro.
he's like,
Seymour.
Oh yeah, Seymour is his real name.
He's like, yeah, because of Montrose and Samuel. And I was like, who the fuck is Samuel?
Yeah.
And it was like,
Sammy.
the bartender.
Yeah, I had to
like,
pause it, and Steve had to explain to me who the fuck is Sammy.
I was like, well, because he goes, you mad because I showed you Samuel getting down, in the alley? And I was like, what the fuck? From the pilot? I don't remember the guy's name from the pilot.
And he just wanted to make him uncomfortable about like an awkward moment in the museum that he drove him
like,
I know, yeah. It's like,
I was like, dude, that was 3 episodes ago. Like,
yeah.
you got to give me a reference to something Sammy did this episode. Like, remember when you walked in the bar today past Sammy, that guy from 3 episodes ago?
I also don't want it to be a thing where somehow Atticus is like bothered by his dad maybe hooking up with that guy.
Well, what they were suggesting in that is that the dad could be gay.
Right.
We'll say that clearly.
But I don't want
in case
Atticus to have
someone
a problem with it. It seemed like he had a problem with it.
Well, no, that's not the problem. I think he had a problem. He has a problem with his dad.
Yeah.
He has a problem with his dad, period. And I don't think his thing was, if you notice, he keeps yelling at his dad about stuff through there, but he's yelling at his dad about the fact that he's lying to him about the book.
Yeah, about being dishonest.
But there's also a theory that, I'm pretty sure his dad used to beat him. Do you know what I mean? So I think the theory is that his dad has issues about his sexuality and took it out on Tig in some ways.
Wow,
and, what I mean? It's partially why he's so abusive and has this whole thing.
And his dad was beaten a bunch too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the brothers' conversation.
And that's a theory that his fucking dad was beat up for being like gay and shit and became like
interesting. Yeah, maybe
fucked up guy.
Because in his like
well, he was beat up. He was beat up by his father, right?
Yeah.
Well, when he was drunk,
the uncle said,
when he was drunk and he was like having memories of like his brother's last words, Uncle George's last words, and he was gonna burn the book and shit. There was like a VO of someone yelling, "Find a switch," which is like normally when the parent sends a kid to go get a stick so they could beat him with it.
Oh, really? I never heard that. Another thing I missed.
You guys, classic black culture.
Oh dear.
Classic,
Right.
classic Southern black shit. You never heard getting a switch?
No.
You get the switch out. You get
I'm
the
actually
switch off the
surprised
tree.
you hadn't heard
Never
get a
heard-
switch. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I did, but I'm from Florida. We deploy.
Yes.
I'm not even
There was
in
something awful about pulling your own switch.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
You had to
yeah,
make,
you,
like,
you pick
decisions.
your stick to be.
Oh
beaten
yeah,
with.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like a very Southern thing too. So Alana, what
Listen-
happens is you're a bad child,
Uh-oh.
and then your grandmama will tell you go get a switch off the tree, which is like you peel a piece of bark or some shit off the tree, and then you gotta. This never happened to me. I just know about this shit. But then you gotta. The fucked up thing is you gotta pick the switch. So you gotta pick out your own beating instrument, and you gotta make sure it's not too horrible.
Right.
Like you don't want it to be too heavy.
right.
Because then you get your ass,
Right.
but you
'Cause
can't
they'll
make it too
pick the
light. 'Cause then they're
switch.
like, yeah, they're like, hey, you know that you fucked up. Now I gotta get you a heavier
Yeah.
switch.
Now I'm gonna pick because you picked one that wasn't enough for me to teach you a lesson with.
Correct.
Jeez.
Yeah.
If I need to be clear that I'm also not very aware of white history either. Like my mom is like very
On
cut
the
off from the
record.
rest of the world and unique. My dad is like
So
a
do you know-
meditation man. All I know is like spirituality and meditation and self-growth out in
Do
Hawaii
you know
on an
anything that
island.
happened before today? Alana? So this is,
I know only what I was taught in high school. Very few things.
Well, anyway, Montrose hearing that, I wasn't
Wait.
sure if it was hearing,
hearing the
that
switch.
VO of someone saying, go get a switch. It made me think, like, well, was that him to Atticus, or was it his father to
Oh.
him?
Or bada bada.
And it could be either, really, but that would be interesting if we have a subplot about him being basically beaten for being gay, potentially. Interesting. It would be interesting to explore those types of stories here, for sure.
I wrote down all the like what I caught as mentions about things that happen in history,
Yeah,
and I would like to acknowledge that.
Sure,
at some
let's do
point.
sure. We could do it now. if you
Alana's
want.
thoughts?
Is this Alana's thoughts?
Well, I don't know because I have other
Hit it-
thoughts,
hit
and
us
that'll
with
end
the
up
theme song.
long.
All right,
Oh,
let's
are
hear
you
it.
sure? Because it's the best song on the show.
Everyone shut up, 'cause Alana's talking. Everyone shut up, it's Alana's notes.
All right, Alana.
It's Alana's notes. We're getting it wrong.
Whatever. Same shit.
Okay, so I'm calling this acknowledgement of historical Easter eggs. That's the section.
Sounds delicious.
Unless someone has a better idea. Okay, so the very first one is when Montrose, the dad, he's burning that book and he says smells like Tulsa. I think that's a little bit more of a known historical event.
Mhm.
I don't know what of Tulsa they call it. Just
The
like
massacre.
massacre of Tulsa. Loads of people got, I don't know the details, violently raided and killed. I pulled up
they got bombed and shot and killed.
Mhm.
Alana got scared
and it was
ran
all
away.
oh no, it was all supported by the
Alana got yeeted out of here.
oh dear, supported by the local town and police folk that even supplied people with weapons to go and do this. So that's very fucked up. Obviously, oh, I don't know where my camera
got
is
a lot of
gone.
attention recently in The Watchmen.
That's right.
Amen. What?
That's right.
Mhm.
I don't know how to
Press
fix
your
this.
camera button.
It's on.
again. Like turn it
Uh,
off and press it again.
Okay.
Use Steve's camera. Just lean.
Lean over. And
my
I
favorite
actually got the
brand.
like there's like a death count and stuff I found on Google. I think it was like 30 something people died and like 800 plus were injured.
Jesus.
It's what at Tulsa?
That's what it said on Wikipedia.
No, it's hundreds.
Oh,
of
okay.
people died.
Hundreds. That
Fucking
sounds
Wikipedia.
More accurate.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Okay, but either way, Tulsa's a big, terrible moment that happened. I don't know how to say serious things that are sad, so they're going to sound bubbly coming from me because, I don't know how. Okay.
Part of Alana's notes.
That's part of
That's part
Alana's
of why it's
notes.
coming from me. If you have problems with it, please tell me. I don't want to make problems. This is one that I have a question about. You know the mom...
You sweet summer child.
Well,
Like a family was slaughtered today.
oops. The mom... What is the mom's name?
You're talking
the
about
daughters is
Hippolyta.
Hippolyta and Diana. That's Hippolyta.
Yeah, but
they call her Hippolyta
in the
in the show.
But it's wrong, right, Malcolm? It's wrong.
Well, it's wrong. I mean, how can
that's
you
what
say
they
it's wrong?
call
It's a
her.
pronunciation of a name. They could do whatever they
That's
want.
how they say her name.
Well, because it's based off
probably just blew it.
the Greek god.
Exactly, because it's Diana who is Wonder Woman and her mom Hippolyta, right? Hippolyta, but they're doing it Hippolyta here. One of you guys pointed that out in one of the first episodes. I didn't even notice, so credit where it's due. Anyway, when she's talking about when she's talking about having named a comet, she calls the comet Hera's chariot. I couldn't find any information on this. I'm sure this type of thing happened all the time, so it must just been an example. But what do we think Hera's chariot is some kind of specific reference, like to that whole Hippolyta, Diana, like that Greek mythology that they're trying to bring up?
I don't know, but her astrology like knowledge and her
And
kind
that's-
of
yeah,
like
that's an interesting thing,
space
too.
nerddom is like a really interesting aspect to her character that I really, really love because
Yeah.
she's essentially like a nerd, a space nerd.
She's a scientist without an
I mean,
official
she is
science
low
degree.
key a scientist, or at least some kind of a low key astrologer.
If she's
or something.
philosophizing about a solar system being able to have two suns, she's a damn scientist.
Yeah. So I really can't wait for her to like totally figure out that like obelisk thing or what's that thing with all the
Yeah.
little planets around it and shit.
I forgot
Like
the word.
she's
The solar system, yeah.
Yeah, that solar system thing. She's like totally gonna figure that shit out. And then she's gonna, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that they're looking for, I guess. The scary.
I just assumed it was a true story. I thought it was a.
I'm
true
sure it
anecdote
is.
About it.
It's just
I'm
really
sure it's
hard.
happened.
It's
Yeah,
so
it just
it's such a
wasn't
small
that.
thing. It's been hard to find on my Googles. It's the best I can do. The next thing that I noticed mentioned was Juneteenth, and hopefully we all know what Juneteenth is now, because let me tell you, Juneteenth showed up on my calendar I think about 2 years ago on my Apple calendar on my phone. And I was honestly like, what is this? I've never in my life heard of this. Not once. No idea. And I even Googled it. And there was like it must have been on the second page. Any real information came up. There was like nothing coming up on the first page. Just like, oh, it's a holiday now. That's the news that was coming up.
It's
and
kinda
now that I know
shitty.
what it is, that fucking blows my mind. And I want to give a moment to be like, let's know what that is.
I feel like
Let's
a lot
let
of
people know.
A lot of people were like, what is Juneteenth? Like just hearing
Yeah.
about Juneteenth, this like on Twitter and shit.
Look, Malcolm's literally burying himself. He's like,
It's
fucking
cra-
die. It's so fucked up.
Black people lead such a separate lives from white folks.
Yeah, or
Apparently.
at least on my Twitter timeline, there was a lot of
Separate
people
shit
going
happening.
like, "What the
It's
fuck
like
is Juneteenth? What is Juneteenth?"
Amazingly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
It's-
I still hang out with my high school friends, and we had the same education. They didn't hear about it either.
well,
But,
it's like how
let's cover it. Let's say what it is.
It's like when Coco was like, "Oh, that's what Day of the Dead is," and it's like, nah, no, that's not what it is.
Oh, well, I guess I didn't know much about that one either. At
but
least I'm honest.
yeah,
I know a lot of mythology. That's the history I know, which makes sense because you found me in like a toadstool or something.
I
right?
did find you on a different planet on a space journey.
Okay, so Juneteenth. Please correct me, any of you, because I'm no historian.
Brett, you got this.
Oh, do you want to?
I
Someone
want
else
it.
want to take it over, please?
No, go ahead, Alana. These are your notes.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to step on your segment.
My understanding is that Juneteenth is the day there were a bunch of slave owners in the South was it Texas? I'm pretty sure, I believe, or maybe more than just Texas, who once slavery was abolished and technically okay, free all the slaves, they just didn't tell their slaves, held on to their way of life, and it wasn't until someone like rolled in, and there's the official word here, emancipation
I think the
proclamation.
soldiers had to come in and basically
Be like,
tell them
yo,
because the slave masters didn't tell them. Yeah,
yeah, that
So,
they're
like,
fucking
Texas,
free.
All the slaves didn't get released in Texas till like I don't know, like years later or something.
Yeah,
like
it was
that,
something
or
like-
that. So
It's the final
2 years later, I
the
think it was.
emancipation of the final slave, right? Am I
well,
wrong about
no,
The
no.
final slave.
They were officially emancipated. It was them being told.
That's what was fucked up
Because
about it.
that? Right, but
They-
yeah.
because that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, it's like they were already free, just no one told them.
Which just fucking twists the knife. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Sitting there doing whatever. I'm sure if Texas slave owners were being that asshole, like, obviously slave
it was
owners are not nice people in the first place in most cases.
It was interesting that
You know,
Montrose.
my last slave master, he was kind of a dick. He didn't even tell me I was free.
Yeah. What an asshole. No hard feelings. But Montrose was like using that as a way to empower Letty to be able to like cross that Indiana Jones bridge by saying that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what was funny is that he was lying.
He was lying, yeah.
But it was like the only nice moment he's had. He was like he was lying, but at least it was to be nice then.
Yeah.
Well, and so this rounds out the other thing, which is like it's so fun that they do have things like Juneteenth, and I think I tweeted about this the other day. I was like, it's so awesome how much richer Black.
Oh shit! Is he frozen for you too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! This is exactly when I need to hear this.
That was the end of his point.
Oh,
no.
Can you text him or something?
Malcolm, you froze.
Can he hear that he's froze? Maybe he can hear us.
Let's see.
Oh no! Right in the middle of what I needed to hear.
I'm gonna say do a quick restart.
Does he know he's froze?
Okay.
I just texted him.
Shoot. Well, I have more
Got a
things.
real action pose on his frozen camera.
It's a great moment. We'll cut now back to
There was
Malcolm.
a lot of information coming.
Yeah.
All right, Alana, continue with your
Okay,
notes.
and then the other thing I kind of just jumped to that I wanted to say was that the girl, the Native American girl, Yahim, or I thought she was Native American. It turns out, because I don't have it written down, but where her tribe was from. She's from Guyana, which is South America.
Mhm.
Or Central America? South America. I need to look at a map. I'm sorry.
Wait, where is it?
You don't have to pull up a map.
It's either
now.
Central
You
America
could
or South
just-
America. No, I'm just saying I don't know
Yeah.
for sure. Sorry, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm being honest.
I'm not a perfect
Jesus.
person.
Oh, I hate it. But anyway, that's where that culture's from. But I know it's a common thing also in Native American culture.
Malcolm.
Oh, look who's
There
back.
he is.
Back again.
Guyana is
Tell a
in South
friend.
America.
Oh, South America. Okay, so I was right at my first
Yeah.
guess. Yay, good. I thought I knew it.
Malcolm, are you
We lost
fixed?
Malcolm again.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Well, let me roll these out so we can just get them done.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one is, okay, I might just sound stupid, but in case there are other people like me, I gotta say, I didn't know, I have not seen the movie Green Book. I didn't know what a green book is. We've been seeing them all over the show. A green book is a book made with like travel advice, like would be like an old
Right.
school Lonely Planet, but for like people of color.
Yeah.
Like where's it safe to be and stuff like that. Like I know that's what the whole travel concept in the beginning of this show was about, and I
Yeah.
was so excited about that, but I didn't know there was like it's a thing. If it's a green book, that's what it's called, that's what it is, that's what it's in reference to. I did not know this was such a thing. So for anyone else who didn't know, buongiorno.
Wait, there we go.
Green
Malcolm
Book
might
is
be
great.
fixing
You should
up.
watch Green Book.
Malcolm?
I know. I didn't even know it was about racism. I'm like, y'all buried the lead when you're advertising it.
Malcolm, can you hear
It just looked
us?
like a buddy road trip with old guys. I was like,
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay.
Malcolm, can
look
you
at his
hear me?
picture.
It's a great.
So
How do I
great.
get back invited?
You can press the camera button underneath. There you go, sweetie.
Oh, Malcolm.
There's that beautiful boy.
How do I see? I can't see you guys.
Oh,
it'll
no.
probably take a second. Your connection might be a little beep boop.
I just see whoever's talking right now.
Yeah, you'll.
Oh.
Oh. Just double click
In
on
the top
that,
right hand.
or you can just
Yeah, yeah.
double click on it,
Oh, really?
or click on.
You guys aren't saying full sentences.
So double click on the image of whoever you're seeing. Just double click right
There
on
we
it.
go.
There you
Okay.
Got
cool.
it. Got it.
For those of you watching the video
Green
version,
Book?
we were talking about green books.
Yes.
Yeah, Alana was
I didn't know
teaching
what
us
a green
about
book was.
What a green book is.
Oh, this is why I hate the fucking movie Green Book.
Me too.
For- No, seriously.
I was
for
like,
the
that's
exact-
why I know. Okay, go ahead.
for the exact reason that Alana mentioned, which is that she was like, I thought it was a buddy movie. Fuck you, movie. Like, fuck you for that. Fuck you for that. It's exactly what you said. It's like they buried the lead. Well, first of all, the movie's like co-written by the racist son.
Oh,
So that's
no.
why it's that's why
I
it's
forgot about that.
Yeah. That's why it's like a buddy movie and not like about how it's not about it being like this great black piano player who was like lived above fucking Carnegie Hall or some shit like that and was this amazing thing. That's why the movie is about this friendship overcoming all and not about this actual amazing life. Only in a racist fucking movie like this do you get like, who's this about? Oh, one of the greatest black musicians ever and his driver. Well, oh yeah, they should get co-billing. Fuck you.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was about a musician at all.
There was a reason not to like it, but I couldn't remember what that reason was.
Wasn't it Best Picture?
Chauffeur.
Was it Best Picture?
I think it was, wasn't it?
It won Best
It was
Picture.
Best Picture, yeah.
Jesus Christ. What a fuck you. What a
Jesus.
super fuck you.
What a great fuck you.
It's not surprising.
Which is why I was really happy to see Green Book in this show.
Yes.
Because, you know, what they do in the movie is it's two white guys giving each other the Green Book. And in reality, there were multiple Green Books and it was used to show black people the safe places to travel. And it was made by black people. And it was like here, because of sundown towns and because of the Klan, the Green Book was the places you could go to be safe when you're a black American. And so that's why the movie being sold as whatever was sold was so disheartening, and why seeing folks take control and ownership of our actual narrative is amazing to see.
I love it.
Can I take back saying Green Book was a good movie earlier?
Oh god.
I mean, you can, but I don't know if that.
In my head, I was like, "Oh, I knew what that was because of Green Book."
I mean,
the
it won
movie.
Best Picture. So
All right, Alana. Let's. Yeah. What else?
Okay, I have a really important
But
thing.
Mahershala Ali, great job by Mahershala Ali. Shout out to him.
For sure.
Oh, wait. First of all, you were finishing up about Juneteenth. Do you want to say your spiel, Malcolm? Or no?
Yeah, it's fucked up they didn't tell slaves they were free.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fucked up they didn't tell generations later that happened in some cases.
That it's a whole. Well, that's the other thing is like black people know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're not keeping it a secret.
Well, it's like that moment in the episode when Hippolyta was talking to Dee and saying like, telling her about how the white girl won the contest and not her for naming the star or
naming the
whatever.
star.
And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was like, that sucks that nobody will know. And she's like, well, we know the truth. Like it's important that we know the truth. And to me, it feels connected to that.
And now we're
the
finally
truth.
getting those stories told
Yeah. And
by the
hearing
people
that-
who know the truth so that we can hopefully more of us know the truth.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Good stuff.
I heard a piece on a podcast recently. I don't remember what it was, but it was talking about how people just shy away from talking, how culture has had a problem with like hiding dark things about their past. Like they made references to how Germans were dealing with having had World War II and everything afterward, like, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, what the culture was doing and how they were dealing with that. And they were talking about how America has dealt with post-slavery and like all that guilt and issue and stuff. And there was someone on the podcast who was a black man and he grew up in Tulsa, or maybe it was like next door to Tulsa, but anyway, in Oklahoma, very nearby. And he moved to a different, and it was a very whitewashed area, and he moved to wherever for college and told somebody he was from Tulsa or that area, and they were like, whoa, Tulsa, and like said something about, the massacre that happened in Tulsa. And he had no idea. He was never educated about it and didn't even know the place he was growing up, the culture of like what happened to his ancestors in that very town.
Wow.
Like, because there's this, historical, until now, hopefully we can start the changes. I know they're not immediate, but like burying of things that cultures have guilt about. And that's not helpful. That doesn't move anything forward. That's why I'm very open about, I don't know, but I'm going to say it.
No,
Yeah.
you should. It's funny. They talk about that
was just watching something about that in Germany. It was just like, they were like, here's the difference. They were like, in Germany, you can't put swastikas up. Like, we learn about the history. You are thoroughly ashamed
Yeah.
of that part of history. Meanwhile, we're debating having monuments to slave masters and having,
Right.
you know, fucking Confederate flags all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For black people, Confederate flag is a swastika.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's very different. Here, we're just like, well, it was the, you know, they're still teaching the war of northern aggression, you know, when they talk about the Civil War.
Right.
So it's just like,
Oh God. You know, there's a really, if anybody's
Backwards.
interested in like a deep dive on that, Brene Brown is one of my favorite humans on the planet. I think she's so incredible. She has a podcast called Unlocking Us. And it's one of the recent episodes. I don't remember which one it is. She's talking to somebody who is a specialist in that area in some way. I don't remember the detail, but they were really talking a lot about it was on a Q&A episode, and she was talking because she is a specialist in this area and was mentioning how the differences between the legal system in Germany and here and how it affects the way they've evolved and we've evolved with our shameful pasts, and why they mention things in a certain way or why they would never do something in a certain way because they have a legal system set up to like be anti those things, but how that could also have been manipulated to work against itself. And maybe if that was in place in America, it might. Anyway, it was just really interesting to understand the details behind some of the like legal aspects of all of that. So if anybody's interested, you should listen to that episode. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm getting deep. I have something I have to say that I'm like dying to say. I talk a lot. I'm so sorry, but I have to say the reason Journey Smollett was so, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was so like familiar to me and I was flipping out. She was on Full House.
What?
She was a little black girl on Full House. I remember being like, I love her.
her whole family's famous. They were child actors.
I found that out on Twitter because I looked through all of the family members she tagged because I was like, I love you. Let me find out about you.
Wow, shit. That's
She was
awesome.
The girl.
That's
on Full
fucking
House.
The
awesome.
original Full House.
Yes!
Yeah,
Oh,
the Smollets used to have
I
a
didn't know
show
that.
where they were like all brothers and sisters, and there was like a stand-up comic who played like they're like cross-dressing aunt or something like that. Like there was a whole show. Yeah, they're like Hollywood royalty, the Smollets.
Wow, no
mean,
shit.
She has always been so familiar to me, but like not in her like ripped hotness phase. So I'm like, wow, I can't tell how I know her. Yeah, she was like a person in the 90s. Her face was all over the place for me as a kid of a similar age.
Wow, interesting.
Anyway, if anybody else was bothered, it's probably Full House.
Well, there you go. Was that it?
Or the
That's the end of your
Smollett
notes?
Well, do you want me to say the things that were not history related?
Sure,
I don't
go
want
for
to
it.
get too vague. I really liked on the podcast. I also heard the HBO's podcast about the show. They mentioned that the writer said that Letty is an activist, but she's a flawed activist, and just that whole concept that they purposely are having her be a flawed activist, because we're used to in filmmaking having characters being flawed in certain ways, but right now in the world there is this like rejection of people being flawed or still learning actively. You know, there's kind of like be perfect and know what you're doing and don't mess it up or else.
Right.
So I just thought it was fantastic, the concept of having a character who is flawed in the ways that we don't allow flaws as a culture right now, generally. And they mentioned that her activism had been very performative, and just the way she exists in the world was very performative. Like she was very just showing like a version of herself and not her true self to people around her and to herself. And they feel like they completed that arc with her in episode 3. I don't know if it was forever, but that she kind of faced herself and brought her real self to the table after that. But I just thought that whole concept was like a real good insight into the character and fascinating.
Love it. Love it.
I'm dead curious about the whole idea of like spiritual history and relating to different cultures, like relating to Latin cultures and Black culture and white culture. And obviously there's a huge history of like Christianity taking over and being like, this is the only religion you can be now, bitch, and shit like that. I'm making it playful, but you get the idea.
That's what Christians say.
I know. I really want to know more though, because I have so many thoughts and beliefs and feelings. Like, I'm a very spiritual person. I like, if anybody has sources or insights, send them.
Don't be ridiculous.
Because I've been hearing a lot of talk about that, especially relating to the show, talking about like white magic and black magic, but not meaning like, what does the term black magic doesn't come from African American. It comes from like dark versus light, right? I think I'm correct.
Yeah.
So when I say
yeah.
black magic,
yin
it's
and
like I
yang?
need to specify African magic, right? Because it comes, but it's not just Africa. It's rooted in. There's like Haiti and all these.
Well, yeah, there's like, I mean, there's Haitian voodoo. There's like the Yoruba gods. You know, those gods are shit, and those gods
Oh
are
no.
shared by like everyone, but they just have different names and things like that. I don't think they've gone too into like actual African spiritualism or any type of magic or deity or that. I don't think they've tapped it. I feel like most of the mythology has still been very Western mythology.
True. They just had
Like,
that goat
except
lady.
except for the two spirits. The two spirits was feels like the first like which is still, you know, Western mythology because it's fucking Native
True.
American, but it's the first like, instead of like Western mythology, like Native American culture mythology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they had the
but that's in the title, right? Lovecraft, right? So
yeah. They had the woman come in who did the goat throat thing,
The goat throat thing?
and she did the X, and that
right,
was
right,
like
right, right,
the
right.
sacrificing of the goat.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what.
That's
you call
very
it.
Southern shit.
The
It's very,
goat
like,
throat.
Yeah, and there were like references. There was one point, I think I said this last episode, but one of the characters was like, "Oh, white people have magic too now," or something, you know. But it made sense in context. It didn't sound as terrible as that line just said. But you know, it was suggesting the reference of like. Anyway, I'm very curious about that, and I have a feeling the show's going to tap slightly more into it. Maybe I'm wrong. Sophia, Sophia, beep, 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 beep. I think. I like. There's one last thing, I guess, in my notes because I'm just trying to skim them real quick. That they mentioned in that podcast that I really liked. They said they were just playing with the concept of look out for the monster across the street, but also look out for the monster in your home. And they're kind of using the analogy of like, obviously in this show, there's like horror shit and like white folk are pretty across the board monsters. And that's the concept of the people across the street. But also the monster in your own home was an example of that would be Montrose, just being like, people can be toxic and shitty and fucked up anywhere, and not to just like super villainize and specify and you got to be this, but like that there's, you know, there are layers to people and there are monsters all over the place and you just handle them differently, etc. And I thought that was really great to bring up because I think it keeps it from having the black characters be one note in that we're just the good guys, like 80s cartoon style. It gives them more depth and character to be able to have all of the human aspects to them.
Sure.
So I like that they pointed that out, and I just wanted to, be happy about that.
That's great. I love that, Alana.
Sorry, I spewed a lot.
No, that's great. We love your notes and your thoughts. It's a part of the damn show, for God's sakes.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Alana.
Bring the show, Alana.
Oh, what?
Yeah, listen, you gotta own this segment, Alana.
Well, I just don't know if your audience is going to be like, boring.
Fuck the audience. This is your part of the show.
All right, well, thanks.
This is
Look,
what you want to do.
I will
come
own it.
Here, I didn't come to this random Discord that's been newly formed to watch Alana's notes. I came here to see the other bullshit from these guys.
Right.
Like very specific.
Right. All right, well, that was Alana's notes. Thank you, Alana.
Everyone shut up, cause Alana's talking. Everyone shut up, it's Alana's notes.
All right, well, how about we do some dang clips? You guys want to get to the clips?
All right, we got a few.
We got some clips, Malcolm, and we're going to play them in a second. But first, let's hear the clips intro.
So what? You want us to tell them that wizards exist?
All right. this first clip is this.
I told you to stay away from this grand wizardry shit.
Amen.
I told you to stay away from this.
I told you to stay away from this
Grand
grand
wizardry.
wizardry shit.
All right. And then the next clip.
And you know what they call me, Tree, right? Most men got 2 legs. I got Tree.
Shouldn't I already know that?
Tree.
Since we fucked in high school, Seymour.
That's great.
Amen. Letitia
I had a question about
fucking
this. I
Lewis.
pulled this clip obviously because it's hilarious, but also because I had a question. Is she referring to? She's told Atticus she's a virgin.
Yeah,
She's
they
a
But that
virgin.
guy
They
had alluded to
He was lying.
having sex with her in high school.
Yeah, he was spreading rumors.
He's
not
being
gonna
one of
lie,
those-
I'm saying, did
Oh.
Atticus tell her that he had said that at some point in the show?
I think she just knew
Did
it from
what's
high
your
school.
question? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because that's why Tree was mad at Atticus. That's why she was mad at Tick, because she was like, "Oh, why'd you tell her about that thing? You know, why'd you tell her I said that?" And then that's why he threw that whole thing about, "Oh, are you mad at me because I said, you know, you and your daddy was fucking with Samuel and all that."
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
All right.
I didn't know if
Yeah.
Atticus had actually told him or told her, or if she had just heard it from other people. Like, I didn't know if the.
I
if
mean,
him
I'm
getting
sure
mad
it was a
warranted or
nasty
not.
enough rumor that like she had to deal with that like she probably knew about it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm just going to assume. I don't know if that's safe. All right, final clip.
Oh, shit. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. Oh, shit.
I was gonna say to pull that one.
Oh shit.
I'm so glad.
What is it in reference to?
It's Montrose,
It's when
right?
he's coming down into the cave from the door in the museum.
And he's hanging onto the rope and he can't hold it. Yeah. That's great. That's a good clip. All right. That's the end of clips.
You better fucking catch me.
You
Clips
guys
are
are
tough in this show.
You guys ready?
They continue to be tough.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting you for that.
Show's too good.
All right, let's jump into the emails and then we'll get the hell out of here. How about that?
Kevin took your top. Look who's here.
Oh man. Magic fucking
your daughter.
hugs.
What?
Oh, that's nice. Oh, shit. Billy Ray.
Officer Mustard Stain.
Time for some emails.
How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery?
All right, guys.
Malcolm, for everyone else, that song played just fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah. It wasn't the weird mess you just heard.
That was an amazing collection of audible amusement.
Thank you, my friend. Someone named Halalik sends an email saying, episode 3, minute 39:39, there's something weird that happens at minute 39:39. Time speeds up along with sounds, and something outside scurries by. I go to 39:29 to give you enough time to see it. Probably nothing, but okay. Someone want to check in on that at some point?
Maybe it was
and
your internet
report
connection.
back to us.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Wait, he didn't send a clip?
Nope.
Oh, I think he meant to. Oops.
I mean, it's not like we can all watch it together anyway. He gave us the time code to see it ourselves on HBO.
That's nice.
Max sends an email saying, "Aw, shit, new clips theme. Hi, gang. I haven't been able to get in my emails in time because the show comes out at like 7 a.m. Monday morning here in Singapore, but I've been keeping up with the pod each week. Here's a new clips theme that I hope you will like. Feel free to give some critique and I'll make the necessary changes. Love the show and the pod each week. Racists getting brutally and violently killed is just chef's kiss. Love, Max."
Amen.
Absolutely. All right, let's hear his Clips theme. He created a Clips theme, you guys.
Yeah, boy.
I'm ready for a new Clips theme because the old one is I'm done with it. All right, here it is. Oh, you guys get.
You need to shoot him.
You guys can't hear it at all. Yeah.
Just pretend.
Claps. I want everybody except
Brett, Alana, and Steve
to get up and get.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Me and Malcolm need you to describe what you just heard.
Madness.
It's kind of slow
okay.
at the start, and at the end,
all right.
there are clips that say, I need you to, and there's a computer voice that says, Brett, Alana,
and
Steve. And then there's more clip cut up pieces. Get the fuck out of here! Stuff like that.
All right. Daniel sends an email saying Jesse
Just
saying
so you know, that didn't clarify any.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, that's basically what we heard.
You're
Daniel
welcome.
sends an email saying Jesse Owens ain't got shit on me. Hi there all, and salutations to the possible guest. Holds for applause.
Oh.
Got to watch the episode Friday. Lots of contemporary music this episode. Also, if this show pivots into National Treasure, I won't be mad. I hope you guys can explain how that tunnel works, because I don't know how they went from museum through magic plank back home. What a cliffhanger, too. I know, we didn't even talk about how
That's true. There's so much.
Montrose fucking killed that character.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know what happened.
What the
yes, we
fuck,
have to
man?
talk about
That's
that.
crazy.
People
There's-
are upset online.
because there's nothing to talk. It's like, yeah, we're gonna.
I don't think I'll
probably gonna
forgive
find out
him
more about
for
that next week.
I don't know if I can forgive him for that. We'll have to see.
There is a lot of talk
Isn't that
about.
the analysis that people come for?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, here's the thing. I was talking. So he doesn't want Tit to find out the truth, right?
I guess not.
So only him and Uncle George both know something about Tit that they both don't want him to know.
Oh.
So that's why he kills the siren, and I think it's something I think Uncle George knows too, because in the very first scene when he sees Tit, and he's like wondering about the letter and what his mom told him, and he breathes a sigh of relief when he realizes it's not exactly what he thought he was going to say. So I think Uncle George and Montrose are hiding some secret about his lineage and his history that's in that book, and I don't know what it is, but it's something that's clearly some sort of end of the world or some very bad thing
Wow,
going to
I love
happen.
that.
They believe if Chick finds out the truth.
I love that. That's a great theory.
Super love that.
Fuck yeah.
Well, so is he going to steal the pages then? Why
I
would
don't
I
know.
guess?
Yeah.
We'll wait.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't-
All right,
Because
Betsy.
he burned He burned the Book of Adam. Or
Yeah.
what was the name of that book? Whatever that book's
The
called.
Order
Pretty
of
much the Book of
something.
Adam.
I don't know. The Order of
Yeah.
the Royal Water Buffaloes.
The Bible of the cult.
Beto Guevara sends tiny notes on
Beto!
episode 103.
Beto!
He says, "What up, lads and lady? So Alana and Brett want me to give my thoughts on the previous episode, episode 3, and Steve does not. I'm going to be democratic and give my thoughts. I'll keep it short so as to not make the horn boy angry. All right, let's see. I love this episode. It was tense, scary, funny, and interesting. It brought back fear of racism that the first episode had, which made you more scared of white people than of literal monsters and ghosts. I also loved all the details and different styles of fancy clothing at the party. What I liked the most is that this episode made the second episode better. We get a much better understanding of how the show works and its structure. We can now assume that it will resemble a bunch of short stories that are all related to Lovecraft's writings and are viewed through the eyes of Tick and Letty. It was a sort of compounding anthology, if you will. Brett Register, TM.
I love it.
Now let's be real for a second. That was Letitia's first time. That means that in episode 2, she was about to lose her virginity, and this motherfucker pulls a snake out of his pants. That's got to be traumatizing. Peace, Don Beto. Yeah, for real.
Seriously, yeah.
Elizabeth Stevenson sends an email saying, "Dear Cum Man, Squeal Girl, and Clips Boy."
So accurate.
Hello from Seattle. Where's Nicolas Cage? Was I the only one that felt a bit National Treasure vibes? No, you
No,
weren't
you're
the
not
only
the
one.
only one.
I'm loving this show. I am especially intrigued by the racist justice content. Most poignantly, the character of Christina and all the questions she raises about white femininity, from the Daughters of the Confederacy to KK Karens in 2020. White women, of which I am one, have peddled a specific brand of white supremacy that is sneakily insidious. She seems to be in it for herself. I appreciate how this show exposes the ways white women descended from more conservative white families are complicit in racism. And Christina even has the specific privileges of whiteness afforded to the multiple genders she shifts between. Ooh. Can't wait to see what they do with this character. Hashtag more fashion commentary, please, Alana. Hashtag they got dinosaurs. And hashtag cliffhanger. Love you all, Busy. Thanks, Busy.
The jumpsuit that
Love
Dirty
a woke
wears.
white girl.
Amen to that yellow jumpsuit.
I thought she was saying, hey, I'd like to say more, but busy.
I'm kind of busy.
Yeah. God, I want to use that.
I thought she was like,
yeah, I'd call you back, but busy.
Love,
hey, Alana,
busy.
I say hey to the other guys, but busy.
Hey, we really got to talk, but not now. Busy. All right, Chris sends an email saying
we gotta talk, not that.
Busy.
Busy.
Chris sends an email saying, first time writing in, hey guys, sorry for such a long email. Bye. Thank you for that. That was a wonderful email. Here's a long one from Nitish Mehta. He's got an episode 3 Easter egg.
Let's put in all the holes in your sweater.
He says, hello, BBs. What a great episode this week. I'm so in for this show right now. I just wanted to bring up a super interesting Easter egg from last week's episode that you missed. One of the children from the Ouija board scene was actually Emmett Till. Did you know this,
We
Malcolm?
did mention this last week, right?
I don't think we mentioned it. No.
I think it happened the week before last, but last week we mentioned it, no?
I think we
It was in episode 3.
Yeah, it was in last week's episode.
Oh, oops. That was meant to be in my notes. Sorry.
He was the boy who asked whether he was going to have a good time on his trip. The Ouija board responded with no. Emmett Till was 14 years old when he was lynched on a family trip down south after being accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store.
And then she later, in her old age, admits to a journalist that she was lying when she accused him, by the way, for the record.
Yeah.
It's her husband and his friend that went after him. And they beat him like fuck before they... Yeah.
Yeah. So this person says, it's been an amazing way. The show is an amazing way for us to educate ourselves and put a spotlight on all the struggles Black Americans faced and unfortunately still face to this day. Absolutely.
Amen. Best thing about the show. My favorite part.
Sorry for the long email and bringing up something from episode 3. Thought it was super important to bring up the small Easter egg as you had talked about how this show's been doing such a great job in educating us. Thank you and love you guys, Nitish.
Wait, did you know apparently he was in this episode too? For like a glimpse.
Yeah, I saw that in the library. He like says goodbye or something like that.
Really? I didn't even notice
Or
that.
either in the
I didn't catch it at
library or
all.
the bar or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's crazy.
But I don't know
hope it was
how
the
they
library.
know. I don't know how they know it was Emmett Till.
Because they used a nickname of Emmett Till's.
Yeah, whatever his nickname was.
His nickname is Bobo, I think, and they used that in there. And I actually heard something.
Yeah, because they.
Oh yeah, it was in the store.
Yeah, I
when
think
she
they
was on
called
the
him
phone.
Bobo Till or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he calls him Bobo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I guess he's wearing the outfit they put the little boy in the Ouija board scene is like exactly like a photograph of Emmett Till where he's wearing like a very similar outfit.
So wait, did we not know that was Emmett Till in episode 3 until he was called Bobo in this episode?
No, because they called him Bobo in episode 3.
Oh,
You could have known if you were able to know. I mean, there's a lot.
It
in
was
each
the
episode.
nickname and the outfit and the fact that he said he was going on a trip and the Ouija board said it wasn't going to be a good trip. So you kind of connected those pieces.
Wow.
Andrew Whitney, I know, the show gives. It gives. The show just gives.
Yeah.
What's that, Alana?
I heard the title of one of the few upcoming episodes.
Oh, don't talk about that.
That's
a
all I'm going to
spoiler.
say. All I'm going to say is
Okay.
that. I'm not going to tell you what it was. That's all.
Okay. Andrew Whitney sends an email saying, "Howdy peeps, Andrew here yet again, another wonderful episode of Lovecraft Country with nothing going wrong whatsoever. No one dying at all, no one on their way to find secrets that might get them killed, no speeches or seeming character growth or connection that might hint at a painful future. In reality, though, I did really enjoy this episode. It was a lot campier than the previous ones, and it honestly felt like a good break from the constant tension and horror. I wonder if these drastic changes in mood/tone between episodes are influenced by the likelihood of people binging this show in the future and making it easier to consume in one sitting. Goodbye." Huh. Does goodbye mean you're never going to send another email? Because that's usually what goodbye
for good.
Goodbye
Busy.
means goodbye.
Busy. Goodbye.
That's an interesting
Goodbye,
theory.
busy.
I guess we won't know, but yeah, interesting. Israel Chavez Lopez sends an email saying, "Hello, BB boys and summer girl, Ecuadorian boy Israel here. This episode felt so much like an 80s treasure hunt movie. The ship scene was the most Goonies thing I've ever seen. I got curious about Yahina, the corpse that turned back to life only to be killed again. So I did a bit of research, and she comes from a real ethnic group called Arawak. They are indigenous people from the northern part of South America and the Caribbean. An interesting piece of trivia I found is that the first woman to be accused of witchcraft in the Salem witch trials was an Arawak.
Whoa,
Her
I
name
didn't hear
was
that.
Tituba, and she was called a witch due to the stories and practices she brought from her culture. Not surprisingly, she was brought to the U.S. as a slave. That's all for today, boys and girl. I want to know what you thought of the episode. Please stay safe, and please keep wearing a mask." Of course we will, Israel. Thank you so much, my friend.
Wait, did he sign off?
He said, did he say goodbye, you mean?
Yeah, did he sign off the show? You said it like he was signing off for the show. He's like, "That's all for today, guys.
All right, see you guys next
Bye
week
on this episode."
Yeah. Well, he's one of our regulars. He's one of our regulars.
Oh, okay.
And we just love him.
All right.
Yeah, so he kind of goes, "We'll see you next time," because anybody can send in an email.
Okay. Because he sent it. He was like, "Talk more after this break."
Malcolm, what did
Like,
you?
all
Yeah. We'll be back right after these messages. Yeah. Malcolm, what was your? How did you feel about the basketball player baby ghost in the last episode?
I had so many questions about that. I was just like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. They're clearly mutations.
My number one question is, why does this ghost have a baby head?
Because they were the creations of that mad scientist, but for some reason their ghosts look like that.
Well, because they were still trapped in that part of them until they healed and became their real selves.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the guy that owned that place, the mad scientist guy, was actually putting people together like
Cutting
that.
them up and putting them
like
together.
cutting up a baby and putting it on a grown man and shit. Yeah.
Totally did not even get that.
Oh man,
is
rewatch it because
Got
it's
it.
fucked up.
Well, that's some interesting history too, because medically there has been a lot of fuckery with black people using them sort of like the way you test things on something before you give it to someone else. We've used a lot of historically used black people to test shit before they give it to white people, which is so fucked
Fucking
up.
hate it.
And also, I'll say of the current
Tuskegee
medical
experiments.
Yeah, absolutely the most disgusting imaginable stuff. And I'll say even to this day, there's a lot of fuckery, but specifically, we still don't have the right testing for the different, like we don't test things on men and women of different races. We test kind of everything, the safe tests, on white men. So we don't
Yeah.
even really know, like, is that accurate for me though in my actual biology
so many
or you in your
different-
biology?
yeah.
Like, no, that's the reason so much shit is fucked up.
Yeah.
So it still hasn't really caught itself in the right place yet, but we're hoping.
Hopefully the times are a changing.
Yeah. And
All
we
right.
can make some amends for all those history
2 more emails, guys, and then we can say goodnight. Terrence G sends an email saying, I don't know if I'm getting this on time since the episode released early. Have you seen William and Christina on screen together? I think they might be the same person. Yes, we were talking about that.
Yes, Brish.
And finally, Roberto Abril sends an email saying, hello, Steve, Brett, Alana, and guest. This episode was very campy, which means there was a ton of great clips. Here's a list of clips I hope you guys got. I would send them myself, but I have no idea how to record audio, and I'm too lazy to Google it. No cunts allowed. We didn't want it because it came from the bad evil guy, and he was saying it in a mean way.
Yeah. At first it was funny, and then it was like, oh, it hurts me.
Yeah. George always said big old Woody could fit the south side of Chicago if it had to. That car filled with people heading to...
Oh, yeah.
Missed that one.
Yeah. Hey, they got dinosaurs? Please get this if you didn't. Yeah, we should have gotten that one. We blew it. Tick's dad climbing down the rope. Oh, shit. Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit. Yeah, we got it. It's here.
Oh, shit. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. Oh, shit.
Letty's sister after she finishes singing, well, fuck you too. Damn it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one. It's kind of sad, though. It's not. It doesn't feel great.
Also,
Which one?
When Ruby's playing the guitar in that bar, and then she stops and no one claps, and she says, "Well, fuck you too." Yeah. Another one. Hot damn boy, you see my jump. I don't remember that. That must have been in the catacombs.
That's the one I said. It's the dad.
Oh, that's when he jumps across the plank. When the dad
he references someone too. He's like, "That's better than Jimmy Sprocket," or some sports guy, I assume, that I don't know.
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens. I had the right person ish.
Jimmy Sprocket.
You want us to tell him that wizard
famous
Jimmy Sprocket.
Alana just making up names over here.
Yes, I am literally happily to admit making up names.
At this point, I got too into the episode, so I stopped paying attention to potential clips. Anyways, good episode. Thank you so much, Roberto. And that's it. That's it for the show.
Damn.
Guys, we did it.
Those are good clips.
Does anybody have any structure stuff that we didn't talk about? I feel like we talked about that it was a little weaker, but
really quickly, what do you guys think Montrose? Malcolm kind of summed it up. Montrose seems to be
I like
trying to
Malcolm's
protect
analysis.
Tick, but do you think that there's a possibility that he's some kind of spy or a plant or something?
No.
Or is that not?
I think he knows. He knows a lot. He obviously knows more than he's telling.
I mean, he read the whole
book
book
to protect his
too.
son.
Apparently, he also read that whole book, so he knows a lot from that too.
And memorized it.
Apparently. All right. Well, anyway.
Wait, Brett. Do you have other thoughts? Does anybody have other thoughts about the episode? I do feel like structurally.
There she goes.
Sorry, happens
Goodbye,
every
Alana.
week. I struggled a little bit more with some of the moments where I felt like.
Make sure you press the green button in there.
I don't know how to come back.
Click on the. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Moments like at the end before when they're in the catacombs, I'm gonna call them, before they go up the elevator, when Letty goes, the scroll gets pulled away and Letty goes swimming out after it. It just kind of felt like there were a few moments like that where I was like, I should be feeling a build of tension here, and I just feel like, why did she do that? Like, it didn't feel like it served a purpose.
It was a tense moment just for the sake of having a tense.
Well, it felt like it was tense up until then,
moment,
and then suddenly that happened, and I was like, oh, okay.
It felt like an extra beat.
Yeah,
it felt like an extra beat that I didn't.
There were a few moments
that I didn't understand what. Yeah, because the show had been very purposeful about all of its moments. And that moment felt like, okay, is there a secret that happened in this moment that I missed? Or is this going to allude to her ability to breathe for an extra 5 minutes later?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, what is this? Why is this happening?
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
So you're hitting on something that I thought for like half a second and then felt dumb thinking, which was, is Letty going to get trapped down there? And then we're going to see her later and we're going to find out she can breathe underwater because each of the sons of whatever have like a special ability.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and then as soon as she got in, I was like, oh no, that was just an unnecessary.
I did like how Tick said
scary moment
that he was like, I'm gonna read those pages and learn some spells to protect our family myself, which is really cool. Which seems like maybe he's gonna use some cool magic soon. which I also want to see.
Ano-
Sorry, that's kind of a pivot from what you said.
No,
but,
that's great.
But yeah, who knows? I mean, and it's funny because Journey Smollett tweeted out that that particular scene, she bonked her head on the set like underwater so many times because there was too much chlorine in the water during those scenes, and she said she couldn't see anything at all. So there's a photo of her holding
into walls.
She's holding like an ice pack on her head, and she's like soaked in that jumpsuit she's wearing essentially, and it's great. You guys should check it out. But it's interesting that scene was so painful for her, and also seems like kind of an unnecessary moment. I don't like that
so far.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Did you hurt your head on that? Oh man, you didn't need to.
Yeah, you didn't need to. What if they were like, guys, we can't cut it out?
That's the
Remember
only
Journey
reason they
fucking
didn't cut it out. Yeah.
Yeah, Journey hurt herself real bad in that scene, guys. We gotta put it in.
Well, there were a few.
Dude, next week's episode looks like a trip. I'm
Did
excited.
we watch the
We
next
didn't
week
watch it. No.
Oh shit.
We didn't watch it.
Oh boy.
Did you watch it,
looks like
Malcolm?
we're about to get going.
Oh, I haven't. I stay away from those. I haven't even
Yeah,
watched them.
we're gonna watch it after this. We should watch
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I
before.
go all in on it.
Wait, the other
we
thing
usually do. I don't know why we didn't this time.
Yeah.
I know, good question. Maybe we did earlier, forgot. I don't know. The other thing that I felt, there was an article I read that really put into words how I was feeling. They were talking about the moments where like the moonlight is what opened the
The vault.
That was the national treasure moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the starter.
Yeah.
There were a few moments.
Also,
like,
does that happen in there every night, or does it just?
Questions galore. There were.
Yeah, it's just nobody's there to push the tooth.
But the light shines down on the map,
I
and
didn't
then
like
the map
that it was the
reflects
front
it.
tooth. Can it be like a way back tooth that you had to like?
Well, let me
I feel like
say
anyone
what I
could
was
just bump
thinking.
into
All right,
it.
sorry. Go ahead. Alana.
What this article spoke really well was moments like that, or like when we were watching. Remember when I pointed out when they were pushing the pieces of wall in a certain order so the door would open, like little things like that. I think what ends up sucking in a show that has so much information packed into every single second is we don't have enough space. We're not given the like setup time so that we can be calculating and figuring out those puzzles ourselves in the audience. It's kind of like we just immediately jump to the answer in the minds of the characters. And I think it's because it's like a pacing thing. Like if we were able to have more time there, I don't know, but that I did kind of bother me too. Like I feel like there were a few times where I was like,
they figured things out
I'm
too
out
quickly.
Like, I'm not
in
interested
an unbelievable
because
way.
yeah, because I didn't go
Yeah.
through it with them. I didn't feel their brain process. I'm kind of like,
whenever I see something like that in a movie or a show, I kind of feel like in the editing we're being spared the passage of time, and like
I don't feel that way.
Like I don't know,
feel
I
like the emotions
choose
are
to
being
feel
cut
that
out.
way about things like that because
Well,
it still
it's
made
too
sense
many
and worked
obstacles.
to me.
It's-
Yeah.
I think you're responding to it's a lot cleaner of a narrative if the goals when they get there are set up. Like we have to go from here to there and do that. And then when they're trying to do that, they realize the bridge is going away or like what they're standing on will disappear.
Well,
you know what I mean? That escalates the objective. But A, we didn't know what the objective was. And B, there's this swinging blade that, you know what I mean? There's like so many touch points of like trying to artificially increase the like momentum of the scene, but not knowing the goal.
But it also
kind
felt
of
like it did.
It just didn't feel like it. That's the way that you do mystery for an audience. I hate to say that because
I
I'm
felt
obsessed
like
with the
they-
show
I-
and
I-
what it's bringing, but I do think that was not super well
Well,
done.
they're doing so much every week. They're covering so much genre that you know they're not going to be perfect at every one.
Sure,
And
I'm not
But I
saying.
thought the scene where the like rope ladder fell down, where it was like you thought that whole like door or wall was going to open, but it's like no, it's just this like shitty attic
Rope.
entrance almost.
That was
I thought
nice.
that was fun.
Yeah, but like even
I
that
kind of
moment where he's
disagree
like,
with you guys about the pacing of the. I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of the traps not giving the audience enough time to be with them while they're
or
figuring
enough
out these
visual
booby
to be.
traps.
It's not just
But
time.
it
It's like
felt-
something.
Sure, but I actually feel like that the booby traps and the magic on the bridge really moved the scene along in a way that still worked. Like I didn't feel like it didn't feel like they were trying to do something that didn't work. I think it worked by still pushing them and propelling them because we've seen a lot of weird magic shit already happen in the show. So it's
I'm not
like
saying
we
it
should
didn't
already
work.
be
I'm
in
saying,
tune
like,
with
you have
that,
to
yeah.
the way that the scene should have played out is one of them should have got to the end, not been able to do the thing. So then we know, oh, there's a problem there because
Right.
the last person that came across the bridge was the one that could fix it.
Right.
So it's like you get there, it's like, oh, there's another obstacle and we have all the time in the world. And then it's like, oh, no, now you have a ticking clock. So now you're building tension because it's like, we know we can't solve this problem. We know there's a ticking clock and everything's sort of pressing against each other. And that's when the dad reveals like, oh, I know how to do it. Get out of the way. And that's when he's like,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to reveal that secret, but he has to.
Do you guys?
You know what I mean? That's where I feel like the scene would have structured better.
I mean, there's a bunch of ways I think
Yeah,
they could
yeah,
have done
that's-
it, but I just don't think it was great.
Yeah,
But yeah, your
that's
way's
not,
great.
That's not better at all.
No, I do think that was great.
Guys, I'd love to stay, but busy.
Do you guys think that we're gonna get a villain with missing one arm because he was the guy that like had to rip his arm out of the?
They get the actor from The Fugitive.
Yeah. What if we get the new villain? It's just this guy with like a magic arm. It's just like a ghost arm or something.
I hope we get more about
A ghost
that
arm.
girl or that
It's like just my arm is a ghost.
Yeah.
The rest of me is fine.
Yeah.
person.
I tell you this,
His
I
name.
did.
Their
It
name.
did feel like we sort of went over like that little process of figuring out these clues on this sort of national treasure thing, but like definitely like that seems way too obvious or close. Like it felt like that sunlight thing. I could have accidentally found that.
Yeah.
But to be honestly, that part is probably the most tropish, cliquish things that I've seen 1,000,001 times. Like, is the person figuring out the aha?
Right.
Uh-oh. Did you make me? I can't hear it.
Wait, Brett, can you hear Malcolm?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Shit, what happened?
Is this everything still recording?
Hang on, let me find out. Shit. I don't know what happened.
Can you guys hear us? Oh, we can't hear either of you. I guess I don't have to say that weirdly because if you can
I
hear
don't
us.
know what happened.
We can't hear your
Shit.
music either. I think it's your computer.
I know. I don't know what happened, though. Let's see.
Busy.
Hang on. God damn it.
Wow, technology's great.
Let's see.
Busy.
Output.
Busy.
There we go.
Whoa,
We're
you're
back.
back.
Do you guys have an audience? Can the audience hear this?
We're back.
I don't
We're
know.
back. We're
Could the
back. We're
audience
back.
hear
I'm
that?
sorry, Malcolm. Can you just summarize what it was that you were saying before we?
I
couldn't
hate
hear?
fucking in movies. Let's just go.
Great. All right. Anyway, okay. So if anybody has anything else to say, or if nobody has,
Oh, I
anything
do
else to
because
say-
I'm a fucking stupid
All right,
talker.
Alana. What the hell? What do you got?
I like that the writer of the show, one of the writers of the show, specifically said that they wanted to make sure that they were showcasing
Are
Black
you talking
Joy.
about the Better podcast again?
Yes, just let me.
All of
bro.
Alana's notes are based around cheating
No, they're
on the
based around
podcast
learning.
and listening to a different podcast where
I
they
just
talk
wanted
about
to catch
Lovecraft.
us up because she gave some info, but that they specifically wrote in that there would be Black joy in every episode, like scenes or moments celebrating Black joy.
Oh, that's great.
And that is
Yeah.
my personal favorite, not saying it's the best version of fighting back and evening the playing fields and getting things to a good place is showing joy on the side of
Love
people
that.
who have just been oppressed for so long. I think that is the best, my favorite, the best. So I'm very happy about it. Yep.
Well, that's a great
And they do
note,
it well.
too.
Like I want to be at all those parties. Ugh.
Well, that's a great note. Well, you better goddamn social distance and wear a damn mask.
Don't go to the parties.
Well, thank you, Alana, for that wonderful note to end on. And before we go, I want to thank Malcolm Barrett, the great Malcolm Barrett, legendary Verbal the Rapper.
The greatest.
The greatest rapper there ever was.
The greatest.
Malcolm, why don't you plug some stuff? You got a show you do on
Malcolm
your
Luther
Instagram.
King.
You got a great show on your Instagram.
Oh yeah, I do. I have a show every Tuesday at 3 p.m. called "Going Live with Malcolm." It's going live with Malcolm, and the host of it is me. So it's with Malcolm. It's the name of the show, and it's the host. And every
I
week
didn't
I
think
have
there
a
was any
guest. I don't
confusion.
know. What'd you say?
I didn't think there was any confusion there.
No, I thought. Well, you know what? Because I was plugging this on another show, and they were like, they only said the first with Malcolm, and I was like, oh, it's with Malcolm. He was like, I thought it was like a spelling mistake. And I was like, no, it's.
You were like,
Very
no,
much
please
on
read the copy as written.
Yeah. I didn't spend 2 hours on that last night for you to not adhere to it.
Did not. Okay, I came up with this very purposefully stupid name.
That's right.
Please say it correctly. So yeah, that's every Tuesday at 3, and then I air like the last week or the week before episode on Monday on YouTube.
Nice.
So I think by the time we've had Rosa Salazar from Alita Battle Angel, we've
Love
had
her.
Ahmed Best from Star Wars. We had Justin Simeon from Dear White People. So we got a lot of cool guests. We're gonna have Sujata Day. We're gonna have who just did Definition Please, which I associate produced.
Oh shit!
She's
Wow.
from Insecure. And then you'll also have Lamorne Morris from Hulu's new show Woke.
Wait, which girl on Insecure is she?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Which person on Insecure is she? You said the
So she
girl's
plays the
Insecure?
friend. I don't think she's been on the last season, but she
Oh,
was
good,
back
'cause
there.
I didn't
She's
watch
been there
the
since
last
Awkward
season.
Black Girl.
She's the friend who's like a
Indian,
lawyer type?
like skinny, pretty girl.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to
What'd
look
you
it
say?
up. No, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, she
I'm
like
very
works at
excited.
the office. She like worked at the office with them. Yeah. So she's awesomely funny, and so she wrote, directed, and starred in this movie, and so she's gonna have a lot coming up soon.
Damn.
That's awesome.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah! I love that you're
Yeah.
still cooking and going strong and staying strong during this goddamn Armageddon.
Gotta
Gotta get up to get
Armageddon's
down.
coming, you gotta be ready for it.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared.
That's right, and we've got plenty of.
And I'm
Go ahead.
I'm Verbal be rapping, and then I think I'm on Twitch as Verbal the Rapper, maybe.
Nice.
Cool.
I don't
Is
know.
that your YouTube channel? Verbal Be Rappin'?
I think my YouTube is Malcolm Barrett.
Okay.
I think it's my name. Honestly, if you just look up Malcolm Barrett in the
You'll find it.
search engine,
You'll find it. And Malcolm, of course, has been joining us for a time on our Twitch streams on twitch.tv/The Valley Folk. We've been playing Fall Guys. Hopefully we get to do some more of that with you soon. But yeah, this has been great. Thank you guys for supporting the show and for listening to us. If you guys want to check out the video version and see our beautiful, handsome friend, Malcolm Barrett.
You can't, because Steve didn't upload it.
I didn't upload it. Not yet. But now you're seeing it, so I did it. Future me
Time
did
travel.
it. But yeah, go to youtube.com/thevalleycast to check
Speaking
that
of
out.
time travel, that's
Excuse
about to
me, I'm
happen.
doing a plug.
Go ahead.
youtube.com/thevalleycast is where you can see the video version of the show. Okay, now go.
Speaking of time travel, that's going to happen on the show. They reference it like 10
Oh yeah,
times.
they did mention time travel. I'm ready. I'm here for
I
it.
can't wait.
Give me all the sci-fi. Give me all the horror. I want it all, baby. I'm ready for it. I'm hungry. All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Love you all. Malcolm, love you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Love you.
You're important to me. You're a good boy. Thank you.
I love you all.
I love you, Malcolm.
Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. I'm sleeping.
Bye-bye.